Hello friends, welcome back to Toy Cafe. I am your host, and in this video we are putting together a very large miniature dollhouse kit. And when I say we, I mean me and my best friend Darling Dolls. We are assembling this together. We each took turns putting things together to make the full kit. So that's the good news. The bad news is there were some problems with this kit. Problems like I've never encountered before with one of these dollhouse kits, but we'll get to that when we get to them. So we'll unpack first though. All the little bits and pieces were not there, unfortunately. There were a couple missing pieces, but that was just the beginning of the trouble. And of course we're going to start by gluing our sheets down to our wood and then assembling the outside of the house, all the walls. The walls here were significantly more complex than a regular little dollhouse, but still, it all went together pretty well. And here again, we ran into more problems. In a number of these pieces of paper were meant to overlap other parts, so to finish off ends and things. But the instructions didn't mention that when you were putting it together. The instructions were actually very vague on a number of things. So a bunch of little mistakes were made, but a little bit of paint and a little bit of patience, and that covers all that up. You'll never even notice. And I tackled the outside for the most part. I'm assembling the windows and the doors. This particular window here had to be sanded down significantly. Normally they need a little bit of sanding, maybe just the paint, maybe a little more to get the windows to fit, but this one had to have significant amount of material taken off, and that was a theme throughout the whole kit. Nothing really fit quite properly with each other. Everything had to be sanded, cut, trimmed. So that's rather unfortunate. Now Darling Dolls is taking over with some of the furniture, and I believe she's putting together a a couch and a chair here, getting plenty of stuffing on those cushions. Very nice. And this is perhaps the biggest complaint I have about this particular kit, in that there's a huge issue with scale. And when I say huge, I mean literally huge, because this couch and chair that Darling Dolls is putting together is of a ridiculous scale when compared to the house. The house is a very, very small size and is nowhere near a standard scale of 1/24 or 1/12 or anything like that. But this chair and couch are of, I would say it's about a 1/24 scale, roughly. And so it looks enormous inside the house and somewhat comical. You'll see later when we place it. And most of the items were either way too big for the house, and some of them were a little bit too small, or just didn't look right in general. So that's perhaps the most unfortunate part of this kit. But we're doing our best to make it look good. And so we're assembling some posts there. The posts were really fun. I thought they added a nice touch with the little bead on the top to add a knob, and some little wooden beads on the bottom to add feet. Yeah, nothing in this kit actually looked that unpleasant by itself. It was when it was combined with the whole that it really didn't look so hot. Yeah, so that's a fancy little couch. It actually looks really nice. Yeah, but it's not without its own set of problems. We actually ran out of material for the cushions almost immediately. It's like it needed twice as much material as was provided, which is unfortunate. But having been crafting for as long as we have, especially with these little dollhouses, we have a huge cache of material that we can use for cushions. So we just use some of that, but if you don't have that, I'm not sure what you would do. You'd have to find material somewhere. This coffee table is actually quite nice, went together very well. Everything fit very well. Assembling the piano next, and this was a complex little affair, but I think Darling Dolls did a pretty good job with it. Okay, she did a very nice job with it. Yeah, I like the little legs here as well. Very fancy. And they're just simple die-cut pieces of plywood. Yeah, but the whole effect is really nice. And there we go. Oh, Can't forget the top. Got to keep all that music trapped inside. There we go. Some of these kits will have you do a little detail for the pedals. And while it looks nice when it comes out nice, it is very tedious to do. So it's kind of nice that they didn't include pedals on this piano, even if it's a little lost detail. And of course we need a piano bench. Next, Darling Dolls is putting together some Adirondack chairs, and I actually thought these were cut out pretty nice. The details and the way they were put together actually worked together pretty well to create the effect of an Adirondack chair with a minimum number of pieces and minimum complexity. But again, in the overall scheme of things, these were a whole scale different size compared to the rest of the house. They were much smaller than the couch and the chair, but much bigger than what the house really warranted. So again, it just looked weird again. And here is the bed going together very nicely. And here you can see some of the pieces aren't quite big enough. Yeah. The posts fill in the gaps there, so, you know, day saved, but really the quality of the kit for the amount of money that you're paying for one of these. And, you know, let's be fair, these kits aren't exactly cheap. They should be able to provide you with pieces that fit, instructions that are at least clear with the pictures, even if the translation isn't of the best quality. And they just didn't succeed in that with this particular kit, which is very unfortunate, because it is a pretty little thing, all things considered. Nice little canopy there over the bed. Isn't that nice? Yeah. It's the little touches. But here you can see the bed is humongous in comparison to the rest of the house. This would be like a bed that's about 4 feet up in the air. Imagine trying to climb onto that every night. And this bench would be even higher up in the air. Your little feet would be swinging if you tried to sit on it. And this chair would be about 7 feet tall at the back. Oh, and this piano is about 6 or 7 feet high. Yeah, so you can see the scale is just all over the place, and scale is not so important within limits. If everything is roughly the same size, you can have some things that are off scale, and it looks okay, it's fine, but here it's just ridiculous. The chair and the couch are just enormous when compared to the front door. Yeah, so that's rather unfortunate. The outside did fare a little bit better, though. The little fences and the planter boxes and so on are a little bit more in scale, but I just can't get over that inside and that humongous furniture. The planter boxes here are actually pretty clever, I thought. Pretty nice. It's just rocks glued to some plant foam, and you stick the flowers in. The flowers here actually came from another kit, because the flowers they provided had all gone to dust, and they were just a big dusty mess, and I just didn't want to get into that, so we just grabbed them from another kit and plopped them down, and they came out pretty nice. And a little doghouse and a doggy. This was included in the kit. Adorable little puppy there. Some flower pots as well, just to fill it out. There were some other details that were supposed to go there to make it look like there was a picnic happening behind the chairs, but some of those pieces were missing as well, which is unfortunate. So we had to make do with what we had. Yeah, the lights as well are a little bit our own creation. We used their stuff, but we hung them where we thought they should go instead of where the instructions indicated. Yeah, that was just us taking some liberties with the design. There it is. Yeah, overall it is a pretty little house, but those problems caused so many headaches as we were putting it together. It's very unfortunate that it went together that way. Yeah, and really the fit was the biggest headache, trying to get things to fit together when they're just not the right size and having to trim them. And it's very difficult to trim these pieces of MDF or plywood when you don't have a proper saw or anything. So fortunately we have some tools that we can use, but yeah, for the average person making one of these, it probably would be a big problem. Yeah, there it is lit up at night. This looks pretty good. This is probably the best view of the house you'll see. All lit up there. Very pretty. Puppy's still outside even though it's dark out. Brave puppy. So the good and the bad all mixed in together there. Yeah. I want to talk about the good things here, but it really was just a disappointing exercise all the way around with this dollhouse, unfortunately. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you'll get really nice ones and you'll be so happy with them, and other times, well, it's not so great. Buyer beware, I guess. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon to be notified of any other videos we have coming up. And if you really want to help out, please consider clicking on one of the Amazon links below in the description, and I have the supplies I use listed there. But you can also just purchase anything from Amazon after using one of those links, and Amazon will kick back a few cents my way so that I can use that money to make more videos for you to watch. So in the meantime, I want to say thank you for watching, and bye-bye.